monitors millions of data points for identity theft.
Hey, can anybody guess who's on the Behind the Table podcast today? It's Joy!
She says that all the time because he keeps dragging me back.
You're funny.
Just when I'm Johnny,
you're like
pulls me
Michael
back in.
Corleone.
Right.
Funny. Keeps dragging me back in. But you know what, everybody? Have a really great, safe, happy Halloween. Take a little time to enjoy the view. Take care of the kids. Check the candy. And we'll see you tomorrow.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Four people have now been arrested in the death of a man who was last seen in Bangor. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. The results are in for the mock election held in schools around the state. They may provide a preview of how the real election will go. And as enrollment in schools all around Maine declines, more districts are considering consolidation to cut costs. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, happy Thursday afternoon. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Greater Maine. We invite you to give us a call regarding your project and experience the Renewal by Andersen difference. Alrighty, here we go. We had some fog earlier this morning, and look how bad it was at one point this morning, causing that fog. But now this afternoon, we're just watching clouds. The advisories have all been dropped, so we are done with that, and we'll be under a partly cloudy sky moving forward today. We had some clouds earlier in the morning period, but now this afternoon, within the last little while, we're going to be watching for the clouds to give way to some sunshine, but still mixed in from time to time. Zooming things out, we have rain in parts of Canada with more active weather across parts of the Midwest. We'll have our return for a little bit of rain coming up rather soon. Futurecast moving forward, partly cloudy today. Notice more clouds and even some rain showers coming up later on tonight and continuing through parts of tomorrow as well. As for the winds, roughly at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe a few higher gusts at times. That will continue tonight and also in the parts of tomorrow. Tomorrow, the winds will be picking up just a little bit more. So for today, we have mid-70s, a warm Halloween, partly cloudy, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, as those go trick-or-treating, upper 50s, mostly cloudy, rain showers are possible. Later on, trick-or-treating should be okay. Southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Alrighty, your hourly forecast for the afternoon period showing a partly cloudy sky, temperatures in the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. 4 people have now been arrested in the death of a man who went missing in Bangor. Bangor police announced Wednesday the body of 27-year-old Dylan Caruso was found last week in a wooded area of Exeter. He hadn't been seen since late September when he was in Bangor. Authorities haven't said how Caruso was killed, but the medical examiner's office has ruled his death a homicide. As a result of the investigation, police arrested 35-year-old Kenneth Creamer of Exeter and charged him with Caruso's murder. He was arrested on Tuesday and is being held at the Penobscot County Jail. 32-year-old Holden Melvin of Charleston was arrested Wednesday. Bangor police say 31-year-old Dylan Boyce of Exeter and 31-year-old Dylan Belanger of Corinth were also arrested. Melvin, Boyce, and Belanger are all facing charges of hindering apprehension or prosecution. 3 people are dead after a car crash on Egypt Road in Raymond yesterday morning. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says the crash appears to have involved erratic driving. Anna Kuhn has the story.
That crash happened just down the road here on Egypt Road, and police say while this crash is still under investigation, they say initial reports show that this was a head-on collision.
Our crash reconstruction team is working on the absolute causation factors, which we don't have yet. Early indications are that the Frontier pickup truck may have been operating erratically across the center line, and evidence at the scene would substantiate that and struck the Subaru Crosstrek head-on.
Investigators say 56-year-old Gregory Logue of Wyndham was driving a pickup truck down this road, and they tell us before this crash happened, he had passed a vehicle and then gone off the road. When he drove back onto the roadway, he crossed the center line and crashed head-on into an SUV. 80-year-old Tamara Harmon and 80-year-old Arthur Harmon, both from Raymond, were inside that SUV. All 3 involved in the crash were killed. This incident happened around 11 o'clock this morning, closing down Egypt Road for a while, but this road has since reopened to traffic.
A traffic stop in Bangor ended with a Connecticut man in jail facing numerous charges. State Police spokesperson Shannon Moss says a trooper stopped 40-year-old Cyrus Griffin on I-95 for a speed violation. After he pulled him over, the trooper discovered Griffin did not have a valid license and was on parole in Connecticut for homicide. As a condition of his parole, Griffin was not supposed to leave that state. Moss says a search of Griffin's vehicle turned up 375 grams of cocaine, 69 grams of cocaine base, 142 grams of fentanyl, and a loaded pistol, as well as $2,100 in suspected drug proceeds. Griffin was taken to the Penobscot County Jail, where he's being held on a $150,000 bond. A funeral director accused of stealing from his clients has been indicted by the Penobscot County Grand Jury. Harold Chip Lamson was indicted on 7 counts of theft by unauthorized taking. Lamson is accused of stealing money from the trust funds through his businesses in Lincoln and Millinocket. During a Maine Board of Funeral Services hearing in May, Lamson admitted to allegations that included more than 60 violations and agreed to surrender his license. And a person arrested after police searched a homeless encampment in Bangor was also indicted. 49-year-old David Carver was indicted on a variety of charges, including burglary, theft by unauthorized taking, and receiving stolen property. Carver was one of 11 people charged following the search of a homeless encampment known as Camp Hope that police say turned up drugs and thousands of dollars in suspected drug sale proceeds. A Manchester man was sentenced yesterday in U.S. District Court in Bangor. According to the United States Department of Justice, 39-year-old Joshua Broman was sentenced to 40 years in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release and restitution in the amount of $1,120. According to court records, in October 2022, Broman entered an Augusta bank wearing a mask and a hat. He pointed a gun at a teller and demanded all of the money in the drawer. After taking the money, Broman fled the scene in a gold-colored GMC Yukon. 4 days later, Broman was arrested after investigators located a vehicle matching that description with other evidence inside of it. An associate justice of the Maine Supreme Judicial Court has been accused of an ethics violation by the Committee on Judicial Conduct. The committee, which supervises the Maine judicial branch, says that Associate Justice Catherine Connors has violated the Code of Judicial Conduct by not recusing herself from 2 foreclosure cases. According to the committee report, Connors worked as an attorney representing banks and banking interests before being confirmed to the Maine Supreme Judicial Court. The report goes on to say that Connors previously had written to the Judicial Ethics Advisory Committee asking if she needed to recuse herself from the cases. At the time, the Ethics Committee determined she did not need to. However, the committee also says Connors was required to consider whether her impartiality might be questioned from the perspective of a reasonable person. The case will be considered by the Maine Supreme Judicial Court. A newly released poll taken by a state research organization shows the race for Maine's 2nd congressional district is neck and neck. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard spoke with the director who organized the poll to learn more about what else this data could possibly tell us.
When we asked people what are the things that keep them up at night, more than 50% of the people had an economic issue.
Kevin Fay is the director of Digital Research, a Portland-based organization that polls Maine voters twice a year on issues such as the direction of the state, which issues they're most concerned about, and approval ratings of our elected officials. Every 2 years, those polls also include questions about which candidates people want to represent them.
It's a poll of 600 voters, half in the 1st district, half in the 2nd district. So we had 300, just a shade over 300 voters in the 2nd district that took part in the poll. And I think the difference was literally one person between the 2 candidates.
In Digital Research's poll of the 2nd Congressional District, both Representatives Golden and Representative Terrio were tied with 38%, with 21% of voters not yet sure of their choice.
When you look at those undecided voters, they do tend to be largely made up of folks that are not affiliated with a party. They're unenrolled voters that tend to be a little less engaged generally.
The top of the ticket is also a close race here in Maine, with 48% of the total people polled voting for Vice President Harris and 41% voting for former President Trump. As a reminder, Maine splits its electoral votes, with 1 electoral vote going to the winner of each congressional district and 2 going to the winner of Maine's popular vote.
The vice president's advantage in the 1st district is such that it is outside the margin of error, so we can sort of say with some degree of confidence that she's likely to take the first district. When we get up to your neck of the woods in the second district, it's a little dicier. Former President Trump does have an advantage, and would appear, just based on sort of like a quick scan of the numbers, to be likely to take that a single electoral vote. But given the smaller sample size with less precision, it's just inside the margin of error.
In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, the Schoodic Fire Academy is on the mission to save lives, and they're training the next generation of firefighters. We've got details when we return.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor and the potential to take you anywhere. Qualified Chevy lessees can lease this Silverado for around $359 a month. Visit your main Chevy dealers.
As a working mom with 2 little kids, it's hard when Jared leaves every week to go to Washington.
But my daddy likes to help you.
That's why he joined the Marines after 9/11. Jared will keep us safe. He knows what matters to Maine families.
He wants to put more money in your piggy bank.
He's protecting Maine jobs and lowering healthcare costs for seniors and families.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because the things that matter most to your family matter most to our family too. I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
I think Austin-Ontario can be very dangerous.
He most definitely would join the extremists in Congress.
Austin-Ontario is on the same side as the extremists who want to have a national abortion ban.
The extremists that don't allow women to have choice.
And these extremists, they're going to try to control women.
It's wrong.
I think you're going to see women die.
I just don't want that for my grandchildren.
Austin-Ontario, he's not going to stand up for my rights in Congress.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
What do I like about Joe Baldacci? Well, the man's Italian, first off, so what's not to like? But more importantly, Joe is community-focused and independently minded, and Joe gets things done, whether it's for seniors or young people or young families. He was named Legislator of the Year by the Maine Council on Aging for his work to protect seniors and their health care in many important ways. He represents Bangor and Herman well, because to Joe, everyone matters.
Paid for and authorized by the Joe Baldacci for State Senate Committee, Eugene Sullivan, Treasurer.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
On Tuesday, students from around the state cast their votes for federal offices in a mock election. 115 schools participated and submitted their results to the Secretary of State's office. In the presidential race, former President Donald Trump won the popular vote with 52%, and Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris came in second with 48.8% of the vote. In the race for the U.S. Senate, Senator Angus King secured his victory, winning over 43.3% of kids. His closest challenger was Republican Demi Kusanis with 23.9%. Maine's second congressional district was a nail-biter, with Representative Jared Golden beating out his Republican challenger Austin-Ontario 49.3% to 48.8%. With the election less than a week away, we'll just have to wait and see how those results line up with results from the general election. According to the Maine Department of Education, enrollment in the state has been declining for well over a decade. And with more empty classrooms, more districts are turning towards consolidation. Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
We just aren't seeing the numbers in schools that we used to years ago. So the school's really needing to take some steps to adjust.
RSU 63 provides education to K through 8th graders in Eddington, Clifton, and Holden. According to the superintendent, the district is considering consolidating and closing one of its buildings, as enrollment is much less than a 2015 study predicted.
We're about half the number of students that we were at when the study was first done in 2015. So you can see that's a pretty significant change for a small district in Maine.
Between the three schools, there are 442 students. At the time of the study, the Holbrook Middle School alone had over 300 students. Today, there are 178, leaving hallways and classrooms that were once filled with students now dark and empty.
Tough thing to ask the taxpayers to continue to fund buildings that just aren't at capacity and that we just don't need.
According to the Maine Department of Education, more schools across the state are heading in this direction due to declining enrollment in aging buildings.
Even the more, mid or coastal, south coastal communities are looking to do consolidated projects to make themselves more efficient, to reduce their footprint and try to provide educational services in more of an efficient way.
If the district decides to consolidate, it will go to a referendum vote, giving the community the final decision.
We're making a decision that's going to impact, another generation. So we're trying to be really thoughtful about doing that.
In Holden, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
There's a one-of-a-kind fire academy on the Schoodic Peninsula working to train the next generation of firefighters. Our Doug Banks spoke with 3 students who aim to broaden the ranks of their local fire departments.
How many seconds does it take to learn how to save a life?
Every other Saturday
8 to 4
since March.
Somewhere down the road, we're going to save a life.
At the Sorrento Volunteer Fire Department, the Schoodic Fire Academy's inaugural class is working to bring more firefighters to Down East Maine.
The main focus of the academy, getting more people AirPack certified.
Their classes involve lectures and hands-on training.
We have anywhere from 3 to 4 instructors with us in class every day.
A good example, last Saturday we had a guest lecturer that came in and covered all the aspects of fire alarms and sprinkler systems.
The Academy's bi-weekly program accommodates the students' busy schedules.
I'm actually the EMS Assistant Chief for Schoodic EMS.
I'm a part-time EMT for Schoodic EMS.
I am an EMT for Schoodic, and I'm also Food Service Director of SAD 37.
Their dedication to bring more firefighters to the fold comes at a time when rural departments are struggling with recruitment.
We need more people to take some of the slack.
After their November 30th graduation, this is not the end, but rather the beginning for the Schoodic Fire Academy and for the students desiring to shepherd someone's darkest moment new light.
Hopefully we can get some younger people engaged wanting to join their local fire departments and be part of the next Schoodic Academy class.
Maine is made up of little communities that need it.
I went from knowing absolutely nothing about firefighting to be certified to go into a burning building if I need to. It almost brings you to tears to know that they depend on you and they appreciate what you do. And that's what it's all about. Saving lives is what we do.
Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, dozens are dead after flash flooding in Spain. We'll be right back.
An illegal immigrant ran an Albion mother off the road and killed her. How did we get here? Before Biden opened the border, Jared Golden voted to protect sanctuary cities, gave welfare to illegal immigrants, voted to allow those benefits to be spent on liquor and bail. Jared Golden created an immigration crisis in Maine, made it worse in Washington. And this is the cost. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I drive more running for Congress than I used to. I've been all around the state. You meet a lot of great people. They talk a lot about higher costs, skyrocketing electric bills, and rising inflation. And heating oil tanks need to be filled soon. People are struggling. We need to lower inflation and the cost of fuel and bring balance to Washington. I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
People over politics. Austin Terrio for Congress.
Did you know that 50% of the air you breathe in your home is air that comes from Hafford Basement Systems? All things basementy. A wet, damp basement is a real problem. It can damage your valuables, worsen asthma and allergies, and affect indoor air quality. We'll transform your basement into a dry, usable space and improve the health of your entire home. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
It's another exciting year of high school football in the state of Maine. Get out and support your home team and be looking for the ABC7 Sports Blitz crew. You can get a free Sports Blitz t-shirt, then watch Sports Blitz during ABC7 News at 11 every Friday night during the football season. Blitz shirts courtesy of
207 Collectibles, Bob's Small Engine Sales and Service, Coastal Auto Parts, Dave's Auto Repair and Towing, Hannaford Bucksport, Osborne's Plumbing and Heating, and the John R. Crooker Agency.
You're gripping a pumpkin spice latte, watching the home game on a Friday night. Earlier, you took the kids apple picking and almost made it through the corn maze. It's that time of year. Shorter days, cooler nights. Valley Home Services believes the comfort and warmth of home means more on nights like these. Comfort and warmth that comes from Fujitsu heat pumps. Valley Home Services has the most reliable choices for heating and cooling your home or business. Ditch the worry of heating bills and power outages all season long with Valley Home Services. Go ahead, embrace the comfort.
5 days to go in the race for the White House, and today both presidential candidates are rallying in the West. So far, more than 60 million Americans have cast their ballot early. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest on the campaigns.
Today, both presidential candidates are bringing their closing message to Western battleground states. As the Trump campaign tries to shake off controversy from over the weekend, the former president is amplifying words President Biden said, insisting he called Trump supporters garbage. The White House says the president misspoke and was talking about a comedian and not Trump supporters. When Trump arrived in Wisconsin yesterday,
how do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
He jumped into a Trump-branded garbage truck, wearing an orange vest that he kept on as he rallied on stage, making this pledge to women voters, as some Republicans warned Trump's rhetoric could turn them away.
I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
The Harris campaign was quick to clip Trump's line and split screen it with reproductive rights related headlines.
Whether the women like it or not, whether the women like it or not, whether the women like it or not.
And while rallying in North Carolina, Harris spoke with ABC's Mary Bruce one-on-one. Mary asked about her priorities.
You mentioned that to-do list. You've made clear you're going to be armed with that list if you get into the Oval Office, but you haven't made clear what is at the very top of that list.
Oh, but I have made that clear. My highest priority is to bring down prices and bring down costs.
In addition to 2 battleground states today, Trump also has a stop in New Mexico. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Powerful flash floods leave more than 70 dead in Spain. A devastating scene left behind after rainstorms turned village streets into rivers and swept away cars in the country's eastern and southern region. It's one of the worst natural disasters to hit Spain in recent years. Police were using helicopters to rescue people from their flooded homes Tuesday. Authorities reporting some as missing, later bringing news of the shocking death toll. Search missions are still taking place in some areas that are harder to access, with more than 1,000 Spanish soldiers deployed to assist in the crisis. Now to a frightening mid-air assault. A Florida man is in custody after beating a sleeping passenger during a flight from San Francisco to Washington. It happened 2 hours into a flight from San Francisco to D.C. Monday. According to the affidavit, Everett Nelson left his seat in row 35 to use the restroom. He then walked out, stopped at seat 12F, and without notice began physically attacking a sleeping male passenger. The flight landed safely and was met by paramedics and local law enforcement. The suspect, Everett Nelson, made his initial appearance on Tuesday. He has not yet entered a plea, but a judge ordered him temporarily detained. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Jared Golden says,
I'm not voting for Donald Trump.
That's because Golden supports Kamala's agenda. Golden voted for their $1 trillion spending spree and against funding Trump's wall.
I'm not voting for Donald Trump.
Golden's for Kamala's policies instead. Aroostook County native, Austin Terrio, endorsed by Trump. He'll support Trump's policies, secure the border, and fix our economy. The choice is clear.
I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos?
because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million.
If you get hurt by a big truck, call the 2.
We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the 2s. We win for you.
Why didn't we do this last year?
Before you were preventing migraine with Qulipta? Remember the pain? Cancel plans? The worry?
That was then. And look at me now.
You'll never truly forget migraine, but Qulipta reduces attacks, making 0 migraine days possible. It's the only pill of its kind that blocks CGRP and is approved to prevent migraine of any frequency, to help give you that forget-you-get-migraine feeling. Don't take if allergic to Qulipta. Most common side effects are nausea, constipation, and sleepiness. Learn how AbbVie could help you save. Qulipta, the forget-you-get-migraine medicine.
For 50 years, I've paid into Social Security and Medicare.
You earned it. You paid it in every week.
Austin Terrio skipped work in the State House.
But he still took his paycheck from taxpayers.
Now, Austin Terrio wants to go to Congress.
Joining politicians who would
cut the Social Security and Medicare benefits that we earned.
Which is kind of scary.
It's going to hurt a lot of people in Maine.
I think it's criminal.
Highway robbery.
No-show Terrio
will never work for Maine.
HMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
It's Halloween, and in just a few hours, you'll probably be passing out candy to all the kids in the neighborhood. And if you have kids or grandchildren going trick-or-treating, ask them for a few candy bars when they get back, so you can make a cheesecake that is, pardon the pun, to die for. We started by beating together some cream cheese and sugar until it's creamy, before adding a couple of eggs and some vanilla. Then we crank up the beater until it's all well blended. And now for those candy bars that we set aside, we chop them up and stir them into the batter. And as for the kind of candy bars, those can be whatever you like. I think the gooier they are, the better. Once that's mixed, we pour it into a store-bought graham cracker pie crust. All that's left to do is bake it off and then chill it until it sets up. I like to dollop each slice with whipped cream and finish it off with a few extra candy bar pieces for an over-the-top dessert that is so good, everyone will come back for seconds. So what are you waiting for? Why not get our recipe for our candy bar cheesecake online, as well as a few other ideas on how to use up all that leftover Halloween candy? And if the kids won't share their candy with you, head to the store where it will be on sale tomorrow. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for a spookier way for you to say, "Boo, it's so good." Hey, that's mine.
Speaking of Halloween, let's check your trick-or-treating forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by the Furniture Gallery. Make your house a home and shop all your living room needs at the Furniture Gallery. The Furniture Gallery is a Maine family-owned company with locations in Augusta, Bangor, Newport, and Windham. Alrighty, we had fog earlier this morning. This is just what it looked like at some points where visibility was rather low, but now things are improving with sunshine coming out. All the advisories have since been dropped, so we are done with that. And the clouds are not looking too bad either. We'll show you that shortly, but for now the wave heights are starting to trend down as the worst of it's tracking farther out towards sea. 3 to 4 foot wave heights currently being observed right nearby. But now the clouds are tracking off towards the south and east and breaking up a bit as they do, so we will be under a partly cloudy sky today, so sunshine will be our friend. But notice the rain up in parts of Canada, and that will eventually move in our direction thanks to this system right about in here, causing some showers and storms to develop across parts of the Midwest and even some snow in parts of South Dakota and also in the parts of Minnesota. We will not have snow to worry about, but we will be watching out for rain that will be moving in as well. Futurecast moving forward, partly cloudy today, clouds move in later on tonight. Notice we will have the rain also overnight in the parts of the day on Friday. And then even by Friday afternoon, a few more rain showers are possible. But by Friday night, just some passing clouds. And then everything calms down as we head towards your Saturday. Just some passing clouds, maybe some areas of dense fog as well. But otherwise, again, the rainfall from this upcoming little wave won't be anything too ridiculous, around 1/4 of an inch or less before we're all finished up. We could definitely use the rainfall even more than this, but we'll take what we can get at least at this point, as we're still in drought across our neck of the woods. Moderate drought being indicated here, and it's not just us dealing with drought. A good part of the U.S. dealing at least with some kind of drought right now. So with all the rainfall you saw on the radar and satellite earlier, this is definitely welcome news for many areas. Our average high temperature is 52 degrees, 70s today and tomorrow. Then we cool off Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, back in the 40s. Forecast coming up for today, we have mid-70s, partly cloudy, southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 50s, mostly cloudy, rain showers moving late. Trick-or-treating will be okay with a southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, lower 70s, partly cloudy, some rain showers could occur. Southwest wind gusting up to around 30 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by the Furniture Gallery. Partly cloudy on Saturday with highs in the upper 40s. Mostly sunny on Sunday. We also fall back as 2 a.m. becomes 1 a.m. with highs in the upper 40s. And upper 40s Monday under a partly cloudy sky.
Thank you, Devin. I remember trick-or-treating in the snow. I don't think kids will need to worry about that this year. Spooky video clips from Ring cameras could earn someone a big payday. The security company says it has received about 4,000 submissions for its ghost search competition. The prize is $100,000. Ring is sharing some of its top submissions so far, from unwelcome guests to disappearing dogs. Participants can still send in unedited clips from their Ring app to ring.com/ghostsearch by November 1st. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a happy and safe Halloween.
I'm a registered nurse. I work in labor and delivery, women's healthcare.